Software is the ghost in the machine of modern life. It is an invisible force. It shapes our days in ways we rarely stop to consider. From the moment your smartphone alarm wakes you to the algorithm that suggests your morning news software is at work. It manages the traffic lights on your commute. It processes your payment for a morning coffee. It connects you to colleagues in an office halfway around the world. We live in a world not merely assisted by software but fundamentally built upon its logical foundations. Its instructions are the silent commands that dictate the flow of information commerce communication. This digital architecture is everywhere, yet it remains largely unseen. It is the plumbing of the 21st century. It is essential, complex, and only noticed when it breaks. Think about the global supply chain that brings food to your local store. Artificial intelligence is no longer just a subject of science fiction. It has become a tangible, active participant in the creation of software itself. For decades, programming was a purely human endeavor. It was a conversation between a person and a computer, guided by strict rules of logic and syntax. Today, that conversation is becoming a three-way dialogue. AI has entered the room. It acts as a partner, a collaborator, and an assistant. AI-powered tools, often called co-pilots, can now suggest entire blocks of code. They can identify potential errors before a human even spots them. They can translate plain English requests into functional programming language, a feat that was unthinkable just a few years ago. This partnership is fundamentally changing the developer's workflow. Imagine a programmer trying to solve a complex problem like building a recommendation engine for an e-commerce site. In the past, this would involve hours of research, trial and error coding, and meticulous debugging. Now the developer can describe the goal to an AI assistant. The AI can instantly generate several potential code structures based on vast libraries of existing solutions. The cloud is the second great force, reshaping software. It has become the universal factory floor for digital creation. Simplified diagram, laptop connecting to a cloud icon branching to databases, servers, and AI services. In the not-so-distant past, building and running a software application was a capital-intensive process. Companies had to buy, configure, maintain physical servers in dedicated rooms. Those rooms required power cooling and a staff of technicians. This created a high barrier to entry. Only companies with significant resources could afford to build and scale globally. This old model was slow, expensive, inflexible. It anchored and slowed innovation. Cloud computing demolished that model. Amazon Web Services. Another revolutionary trend is the rise of low-code and no-code platforms. These tools are bringing about a great democratization in software creation. For a long time, building software was like being part of a secret guild. You had to learn complex, arcane languages and master intricate tools. It was a skill reserved for a select few with specialized training. This created a bottleneck. The number of ideas for useful software has always far outstripped the number of people who could actually build it. Businesses had to wait in long queues for their IT departments to develop even simple applications for internal needs. Low-code and no-code platforms are changing this dynamic entirely. They provide a visual, intuitive interface for building applications. Instead of writing lines of code, users drag and drop pre-built components onto a canvas. They connect these blocks together to define the application's logic and workflow. It's more like assembling a flowchart or building with digital Legos than traditional programming. A no-code platform might allow a marketing manager to build a custom app for tracking customer feedback without writing a single line of code. A low-code platform might allow a business analyst to build 90% of an application visually. Automation is, honestly, the silent, relentless force weaving through all other software trends. It is the imperative to make everything faster, more reliable, less dependent on manual human intervention. In software development, this is manifesting in a movement known as DevOps, and more specifically, CI/CD. That stands for continuous integration and continuous deployment. It sounds technical, but the idea is actually pretty simple. It's about creating an automated assembly line for software. As soon as a developer writes a new piece of code, a series of automated processes kicks in. The system automatically tests the code, checks it for security flaws, and, if everything passes, deploys it to users. These powerful trends, AI, the cloud, low-code automation, are converging to fundamentally reshape the job of a software developer. The stereotype of the lone coder, sitting in a dark room and writing arcane code for weeks on end, is becoming a relic of the past. That model is simply too slow and too isolated for the modern world. The developer of today, and certainly of tomorrow, is more of a systems thinker, problem solver, collaborator. The value they provide is shifting away from the act of typing code and toward the act of architecting intelligent solutions. The rise of AI co-pilots means that developers will spend less of their mental energy on syntax and boilerplate code. The rote memorization of programming language details becomes less critical. Instead, the premium will be on the ability to clearly define a problem. So, what skills will matter most for the developer of the future? As the tools evolve, the necessary human skills must evolve alongside them. While foundational knowledge of programming will always be important, a new set of competencies is rising to the forefront. The most durable skill in this new era will be adaptability. The pace of change is accelerating. The hot new programming language or framework of today could be old news in 5 years. The successful developer will be a lifelong learner, perpetually curious and unafraid to discard old methods in favor of new, better ones. They must embrace change as a constant, not an exception. Secondly, architectural thinking will become a prized skill. As AI and automation handle more of the low-level coding tasks, the human value shifts upward to system design. This is the ability to see the forest, not just the trees. How should a complex application be broken down into smaller, manageable services? How can we design a system that is resilient to failure? How can we design a system that is secure against attack? How can we design a system that is capable of scaling to millions of users? These are not questions an AI can answer on its own. They require human foresight, experience, and a deep understanding of business goals. With all this talk of AI writing code and automation running systems, is the human programmer going extinct? The answer is a definitive no. The tools are changing human ingenuity, creativity, judgment, more important than ever. Software development has never really been about typing. It's always been about problem solving. Even as low-code platforms become more common and AI begins to write its own scripts, the act of learning to code remains profoundly valuable. It is an investment that pays dividends far beyond the ability to land a job as a developer. Learning to code is, at its core, learning how to think. It forces you to break down complex problems into small, logical, manageable steps. It teaches you how to be precise in your